keep losing the screen. I'm cutting up this video, but I hope it doesn't come out cut up. Anyway, I'm gonna edit it a little bit because I have to. It won't let me upload to Spotify anymore. I was having such a hard time uploading. It doesn't let me. I have to go through this stupid app now, which you have to pay for. It's only free after the trial. I mean, before the trial. Anyhow, back right at you, Fred. So I don't know where I left off last time, but I was talking about eating servets, which are raspberry and orange, which are freaking awesome. Okay. So hold that thought. I'm gonna check what we left. Back at you, Fred. Back at you, my friends. All right, so we left that survey, and I'm gonna stop eating this and get into the show. All right, my bad, guys. I have a trash can here. Okay. Ooh, my chair be cracking, like my back, my neck, my back. All right, back at you with the regular voice. I was very excited to be back today. But I am just very, very happy to be here. All right. So it's been a while. I think about a couple of weeks, and I am ready to get back into the subject. So I got a couple of things to talk about today. We're only going to be about 20 minutes, 30 minutes long today, because that's how I'm going to be handling the podcast now. But I hope that you guys are getting something out of this. It was time to do an English show today, so the next show will be the Spanish show. And it's coming up. We're going to talk about today about two things. We're going to talk about the seller CD, or the seller closing disclosure, or seller HUD. And then we're going to talk about proceeds and, ways of basically where to direct the proceeds after closing. A couple of options that you have depending on your situation. And if we got a couple of minutes, then we're going to talk about what an IRA is, which is why we're talking about where to send the proceeds. All right. So with that said,
let's go. Let's go, Colombia.
Parce. All right, we're gonna get it going today. We're gonna get some good vibes up in here. Yeah, let's go. If you're not there, wake up for me. It's your boy Roberto Ixum, Único Title. All right, so make sure you're here. Make sure you're here with us today, because we love you. We love you. We love you listening to our show. We love you listening to our show. All right, so let's go, guys. Now, okay, starting our topic today, let's just go ahead and get into it. So the seller CD, like we talked about, it's going to be what the selling side is going to be receiving, disclosing all the fees and basically all the deductions and also credits that the seller receives, and also commissions, right? So we want to make sure that we understand the seller CD if you are a listing agent, because you should be reviewing these before your closing, and you should be requesting those from the title company, and at least 24 hours in advance. Which most of the time it happens that you can send it, 48 hours in advance. But most of the time now is 3 days. And if you got a cash deal, it's probably the day of. Or if you got a good person like me, you probably get it the next day. Just kidding. So, what is in the seller CD? So obviously the seller CD is gonna go off of what the contract had initially, or you hope. If you got a good escrow officer, he'll follow the contract, and he should, have all the credits, debits, prorations. But we're gonna get into that. So, but you wanna, as an agent or a lender, as an agent or a relative interested in the selling side, or the attorney for the seller, or even the seller yourself. But if you're a real estate agent, because my show is for lenders and real estate agents, mostly, but obviously anyone that's interested in learning about real estate can get some education from here. So that's my main goal. But my pitch is to Hispanic, investors, realtors, lenders, agents. Anyhow. Okay, I lost my thought. I was trying to get my thought in line, because I'd scan something over for you guys to see, which maybe I'll do it here in just a little bit and edit it in. But so what you do is, when you get your money, there's a couple of things that basically have to happen. You do have to have the money sent somewhere to an account, wire transfer, and then you also have to have a 1099 form signed at the time of closing. Oh, here I go again, fucking this up. No, we're good. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know how I was doing that. Anyway, so once you get that done, basically what you do is you instruct us, the title company, to say, okay, I want to have this deposit sent here. And what we do is we generate a 1099 for you, which will say that that we ran the transaction in here. It doesn't say that we sent you $500,000. It just says the property sold for this much, and we held a transaction, and basically go after this person and see what they did with the money. So that's part of what the title company does for the moment that you get the proceeds of the sale. And there's a couple of factors that have to play in, but this whole talk about like FERPTA, I can't even talk around anyway. Taxation and deductions and all that. You will have a lot of title companies that will tell you that, Hispanics, or for a lack of a better word, like immigrants or illegal immigrants, for lack of a better term, have to get taxed 15% at the time that they get the proceeds, which is totally incorrecto, amigo. Sorry, I had an itch. It's totally incorrecto because you guys are, and I'm talking about the other title company people, they're como dirían los amigos colombianos, hijo. Bueno, they just don't know, fam. I mean, honestly, I think that people have a misconception of being an immigrant here, and they pretty much think that being an immigrant here, and for even worse, like an illegal immigrant here, that you can't do anything real estate wise, which is totally wrong. Ask me if you should. Ask me if you should. I've done it, fam. I was for a long time an illegal immigrant. I'm a native person, but nevertheless, I've always been grateful to being here. And in honesty, I don't see myself going back there until probably later or just vacationing. But for the moment, I'm cool. I know that a lot of things are happening right now, and a lot of things are coming to an end. And the U.S. being one of them, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna stay here, but we still got a couple years, at least two. All right, what do you do with the proceeds? So, back what I was telling you guys. If you are here with no papers, you can still acquire properties and you can still sell properties. However, to avoid the taxation, because in reality, if you don't do anything federal wise as like income tax declarations here in the US, then you're considered a foreign investor, should I say, right? So as a foreign investor, then when you go to sell, then you have to pay a tax because Uncle Sam don't know crap about you. And at that point, I understand. Then yeah, you go ahead and charge them 15%. Because foreign investors, I mean, we do it to Chinese, we do it to Europeans, South Americans, Colombians with money. Foreign investors, homie. I mean that I understand you have to pay, and I do it if they are not able to prove to me that they declare taxes here. And that's what the whole misconception that I think people have is like just because you're an illegal immigrant, you don't pay taxes. But bro, we do. And I'll be saying that's what I'll be talking about. So with that said, once you sell and you're not being taxed because I close to you and you went with me instead of the other title company, then you're safe, bro. You're not gonna get taxed. And if you don't know how, if you're an agent and you still are dealing with those title companies that are telling you that you have to have your client pay 15%, we have to have our client pay 15% of tax. We have to call the police, the title police. I'll be putting them on hold. I'll be like, hold on real quick. Man, they be getting on my nerves, bro. And I'm not going to say no names, but man, I got a couple people in my office that are the same way. All right, cool. So, can we just talk about the subject now? Yeah. I'm not butthurt or anything, but I love you guys. I just wish you knew and were more familiar with our culture, and you wouldn't be so judgmental and coming to conclusions about us. But you know what? We're a majority now, so watch out now. Watch out, homie. And I'll be talking about this in Spanish, bro, if you want to listen to my español. Tú mi español. Pero es que, tío, yo soy de España. Yo soy la madre patria. Yo soy del Madrigal. Yo soy náhuatl, cabrón. Bueno, what do you do with the proceeds after you get them? You got a couple options. You put them in your bank account directly, your checking. Um, if you lived in the property more than 2 years, and if it's less than $1 million, go ahead. You are fine. You're not gonna get income tax on that. If you are a person who's doing flips and or maybe a second home, then you will get taxed on that. If you're an LLC and or a corporation or even a trust, you don't. You only get taxed on gains, capital gains, but you don't pay federal taxes on that money. And what else? If you're an estate, you pay taxes on that too. Like, let's say someone passed and they left you as the heir, and you get money on that. Well, if you put it into your account, no, typically you don't actually. No, let me rephrase that. Because when you inherit something, it's not taxed. It's not money taxed. But what you want to do is, if you're the legal heir of that person, you want to make sure you open a trust. Because the trusts are more exempt in taxes than just an heir. So think about that. It's a little tip. Me personally, if I were to receive what this guy was getting, like 400 and some thousand, I would either put it towards another purchase right away in less than like 40 days. I would do what they call a 1031 exchange, right? Or even then, I would just lend it out to a different person. I would receive it and I would lend it. But I believe what you get taxed on is if you leave it on there more after 30 days in your account. If you don't reinvest it within 90 days, then you get really hit with capital gains. So just food for thought. This is your friend Unico Title. My name is Ixul. This is Ixul Talks. Thanks for listening. And thanks for listening to my Wu-Tang on the back. It's Wu-Tang Blues. I hope they don't censor me. Anyway, if you got some questions, or if you want to holler at me, our website is www.unicotitle.net. My email is Roberto, ROBERTO, at unicotitle.net. I'll give you my cell if you holler at me on Instagram. And that's unicotitle_bilingual on Instagram. You can follow my personal page from there, which I tend to not be so professional sometimes. Cool. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. You guys are awesome. But it's now time to go. All right. So I'll leave you with a quote, as I tend to do. And honestly, I'm not too sure who said this quote. I just read it. But it goes something like this. We all should learn how to separate our emotions from our behavior, as our emotions always have validation, yet our behavior doesn't. So we should always learn how to separate our emotions from our behavior. Our behavior is always valid and your emotions are not. Okay, so thanks for listening, guys. Love you. See you next time. If you want to listen to our Spanish podcast, coming up in 2 days. Love ya. All right. I won't pull anymore because then they'll censor me. All right. See ya. Thank you. Let's get the weekend started. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Remember our party coming up. Please join it. Yeah?